We're flexing at the duckling right now, baby. You know what it is.
Guys, we're live. Welcome back to the Stomping Grounds. We got Matty from Driven as Fuck Recovery. We got Dale, and we got Big Greg Fisher. What's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
You know what it is.
So, guys, Matty, why don't you start and quickly just introduce yourself? Just a little quick background, kind of why we're here all together, and kind of a little bit about what you're about. And then I'm sure Greg will relate with something very similar as well.
Sounds good. Well, I'm a 13-year recovering drug addict at about 33 months, I think, right now. I'm driven as fuck recovery is named that because I pretty much live my life driven as fuck these days. I turned that obsession over drugs into obsession over winning. Basically, I got a lot of really good shit going on. I got a great family now, great home, a business, partnership with these fine gentlemen, speaking at different places and rehabs, talking about the stuff that basically keeps you sober and also makes you a success in your life, which I think also keeps you sober because then you don't want to run from this shit anymore. But I have a training businesses in a couple of rehabs and one commercial one just started. A union iron worker. I did every drug under the sun except for really I didn't drink or smoke weed when I was getting high.
Everything else.
Success. Yeah, I went for the hard stuff, but
Of course.
And I think what we're all doing together is we're all on the same mission and we're all trying to reach out and talk to people and maybe help them avoid some of the shit we went through. And that's definitely
Absolutely.
what Driven Fuck is about. It's just about driven recovery, but I know we all live that. So with that, I will pass, I suppose.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother.
Yes,
Greg,
sir.
Dale, what about you guys?
My name's Greg. I'm 38. I'm in recovery. I've been in recovery for about coming up on 2 years. I've been a drug addict pretty much my whole life. You name it, I've been addicted to it. I tried everything. 2 rehabs, been in prison multiple times, mostly incarcerated my whole life due to my addiction. I just honestly made a commitment to myself 2 years ago that I would do whatever it takes and go through any suggestions that get put in front of me and meeting these two fine gentlemen, Wes and Matty, and our guest host right now, Dale, this guy, have been truly tremendous and nothing but a blessing to me, man. So, I'm just happy to be here. I'm blessed. And this video right here, this recording, and this what we got going on right here is probably the realest and rawest that you'll ever get from anybody doing this type of stuff, man. We're just laying it out there.
Absolutely. And Dale, before you say a little bit about yourself, I just want to say, as far as everyone on this Zoom chat is all at different levels of life or different levels of recovery, different financial situation, definitely different lanes as far as jobs in general. But we do have one thing that we all have in common, which is our ambition to be leaders instead of just living like a mundane life or just surviving instead of thriving. So that's kind of what brings us all together here. And that's kind of what attracted me to Matty. That's what I like about Dale and absolutely about Greg as well. So I think that's the common denominator that brings us all here tonight.
Well said, sir.
So what's up, Dale?
What's going on, man? I'm Dale. I'm also in recovery, man. I've been in sobriety, man, maybe going on 13, 14 months. Man, I just want to say, man, that I'm truly grateful, man, to be on this path, man. You know, I really am, man. I'm grateful to finally be around some brothers, man, who are really seeking sobriety and doing sobriety and living sobriety, man. That means a lot, man. I'm grateful, man, to be, friends with you, Wes, Matty,
Yeah, your audio went out. I think you're covering the microphone or something.
I think possibly the same, yeah.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. Like I was saying, man, I'm just grateful, man, to be a link in this chain, man, with the brotherhood, man. It's a beautiful thing, man, to be surrounded, man, by guys who are actually living the sobriety thing, man, and who wants to give back, man. So I'm truly grateful for that, man. And thank you to Wes, man, for allowing me, man, to be a part of this this Zoom meeting, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you, very much.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that I love about you, Dale, is, you know, you kind of creeped up as far as you've been around over a year now, maybe 13, 14 months, right? But your come up was very, very quiet. You really stayed to yourself, but behind the scenes, your actions and the way that you kind of came up in recovery, to me, it kind of shows that you have the leadership qualities and aspects, but you're just not, maybe not yet, but for now, you're just not as out there with it. But I really, for some reason, I think you have it in you as far as to broadcast your message, kind of like what we're all doing. So.
Absolutely.
And thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I'm getting better with, stepping outside of the box, man, and speaking more and things like that, and coming over the fear of speaking, man, because, I have a little issue with that, man, with the fear piece, man, of speaking. But being around you guys, man, you and Matty and Greg, man, you guys definitely helped me with that, man. And I need to participate more, because I do have a lot to offer, man, as well as the rest of the brothers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And real quick, so we're going to talk about something pretty basic tonight. And as we kind of progress with our thing that we're doing now, maybe we'll get to like a real life sit down, hopefully all together. But I want Matty from Driven as Fuck to kind of kick it off for us with the topic. And it's a real simple one. It's very cliche, but Matty's the one that really brought us all together with the groups that he does at the rehab. He invited me, he invited Dale, Greg, a couple other brothers with us. And tonight, first of all, thank you, Matty, for kind of making this, idea happen. Greg, you were a big part of it, kind of just bringing it to the next level. And this is where we're at with it now. So Matty, if it's okay, if you could kind of kick us off tonight, as far as it's such a broad topic, but Greg brought up the word discipline, right? And it can mean different things for different people in different aspects of life. But I believe that as an addict, drug addict, alcoholic, discipline is one of the deciding factors of whether you're going to be successful or not. As a recovering addict, not just in life. Yeah, of course, in life, you have to have that discipline to get the shit done, to get to the next level, whether it's business, whether it's in school, et cetera, et cetera. But especially as an addict, I think discipline is something that is not overlooked, but maybe it's kind of misunderstood how fucking serious it is that you need to have it.
Agreed. I mean, I'll kick it off. That's a word I hated most of my life because I didn't understand what the fuck it meant, really. I mean, I always thought discipline was getting in trouble or somebody telling you to do shit you didn't want to do. I finally learned it was like Jocko Willink's book, Discipline Equals Freedom. And then David Goggins, too, both talking about discipline being self-discipline. And then I started to think, I read this shit and I'm like, you know what? This is probably why I haven't gotten where I wanted to go, because I never make myself do shit when I don't want to do shit, which is basically, at least their definition. I mean, I honestly love Andy Frisell is the best. Discipline is fucking keeping the promises you make to yourself. You want a nice, simple ass definition? I think that covers it pretty well, man. If you don't keep the promises you make to yourself, that's discipline, because you make promises to yourself or anyone else for that matter all day long. And if it gets where you're tired or you're fucking don't feel like it, ain't feeling it, not feeling it, fucking whatever, take your pick, out of the energy. It happens to all of us, but it's a matter of you made a promise to yourself, you're going to fucking follow through on it, whether you feel like it, whether you don't. It's just a commitment, and that goes a long way. And I mean, in sobriety and recovery, we made a commitment to ourselves not to fucking get high anymore. And that's where it starts with success and anything else, as far as I'm concerned. That's the first commitment you got to keep, man. And that in and of itself, to me, is the beginning steps of discipline. And I mean, that's a real simple definition for me. And like, that was where I started with it, getting up early, Jocko shit. But I have to anyway, because I start work so damn early. Now I'm getting up at 2:15 in the morning to get workouts in and shit. But I fucking do it anyway.
Right.
And then I I feel like I started to learn how to do it, and I was started applying it to other areas in my life most of the time. And then, like I'm doing this 75 hard thing for Mandy Casella now that I thought was going to be so goddamn easy when I started it, because I do this shit, and I do this shit, but not 100% of the time every goddamn day, and not day
Every
10.
Time.
Yeah, like
every fucking time.
2 days. As you guys know, I've had some personal struggles. My wife going back across the country, a lot of shit. I'm not working a whole lot, iron working, but I just made decisions to continue to do my shit. I trained at my new gym. I've been going to Body Vandals, talking to you guys all day long, like we've been doing the last few weeks.
Absolutely.
I just kept doing the shit that I promised myself I would do in that program. Even though, honestly, the last 2 days, all I really wanted to do was just lay back over, go to sleep, and forget about shit. But that's what I used to do when I got
Me too.
high. I just fucking took Xanax and heroin and shit to do that. But
yeah,
I
man.
just pushed on. The funny thing that kills me, like today, out of nowhere, I get a good job opportunity. This thing that Greg brought up. I mean, the dude had like lit up my whole night. But I think that shit comes because you keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
It's just like the world or karma's way of saying you kept your promises to yourself, and now you're worthy of doing something bigger.
100%.
And you know what? That the way you summed it up is fucking absolutely perfect. As far as the simple definition is, you make a promise to yourself. You say you're going to do something, and then you do it. Right now, I'm the youngest out of four of us, and when I got into recovery almost 3 years ago, my level of self-discipline was non-existent, just to throw it out there, right? My whole life, I was kind of silver spooned until the day I was 25. I never even did my own laundry. My parents cooked all my meals, paid all my bills, cell phone. I was living with them, blah, blah, blah. I could barely hold a job down. So I think there's different levels. Absolutely, Matty, you're right when you say the first thing you need to do is not use drugs and alcohol, right? That's the first promise that you need to clearly keep to yourself. Not everyone understands that. They think that they can just find a way around it, or they're looking for a way to successfully use drugs and alcohol, right? For me, I knew that I couldn't use drugs and alcohol. Now, the next step for me was, how can I start building this self-discipline, but at a realistic level? So when I started my recovery, I was in a new area. I had $0 to my name, and I had to figure this shit out from the ground up, right? So my definition of my level of building self-discipline started at the absolute fucking bottom floor, right? How to keep a job and show up every day. When I arrive at my job, how to not steal from my job, right? I had to learn how to successfully do my own laundry. I had to learn how to successfully do my own grocery shopping. I had to learn how to clean up around the sober house that I was living at. Now, for most normal people, this kind of stuff is just stuff that you learn when you're growing up, right? Or your parents, teach you this lesson, and you respond positively when you start doing this shit. For me, this was nothing that I ever fucking did in my life. So my journey of self-discipline started with the littlest things and the smallest promises that I kept to myself. I tell this story a lot, but when I first got to the city that I live in now, I was working at a staffing agency, and I had $0 to my name. So, I had no money to buy food, and I would go to work at like a 10-hour shift, hungry as fuck, right? And I was working in an assembly line, and they were packing Oreos to put in the stands to put up at Walmart or Costco or wherever the fuck, right? The new Oreos, double, triple stuffed. And
love those.
Yeah, they're fucking amazing. They're fucking amazing. They're better when you buy them yourself, because the point of the story is I'm in that line, and people are packing the Oreos, and once every box or so, the guys are taking a box or taking a couple Oreos from a box that they put aside, right? And I'm sitting there thinking like, damn, I didn't have any food before I got here. I have a 10-hour shift. Everyone else is doing it. Why can't I just have a couple Oreos? Every 10 boxes, I'll eat an Oreo, right? And this was my first active, conscious time in my life that I chose self-discipline, and I chose the right thing to do. As far as I could have been a follower, right? I could have just done what everyone else did, but I thought it through. I made a promise to myself. I said, no matter how fucking hungry I get, it's just not the right thing to steal Oreos from my employer. So it sounds so stupid, but that was the first time, and it made me so proud of myself. And it showed me that I can choose self-discipline. over bullshit, manipulation, and lying. That's kind of where my journey started, as far as teaching myself how to discipline myself, and telling myself that I can do it consciously, so that I can't be a victim anymore. When shit comes my way, I know that I have the capabilities to make the right decision. So ever since that day at the staffing agency in the warehouse, that's when my fucking journey started. I don't know about you, Greg, Dale, but what are your guys' definitions, or what do you think about self-discipline, and how did you obtain it? How did you get to where you are now with your relationship with self-discipline?
First, like I said, when I introduced myself, I'm 38, and I never lived life like a normal person ever. I never had my own bank account. I never had my own car. I never had my own place. I'm pretty much, before I started this this beautiful journey that 2 years ago in my life, I'm like a 38-year-old grown man with the mentality of a 12-year-old.
Right, I can relate to that.
Yeah, so learning how to live manageably is something that was completely new to me. So I knew that early on I had to make a decision to myself that I was obviously never gonna use drugs again in my life, and honestly mean that. And so just staying disciplined to pretty much, everything that, pretty much just start over in my life. I knew that I had to pretty much do stuff that I've never done before. So like
when you say that, for example, just so I think this is something that we, when me and Matty were in ECS, right? For you, Greg, it's not about just stopping the drugs and alcohol. It's about what kind of steps have you taken to build a life that's not worth giving back up for a quick high or to get drunk real quick? What have you done since you got out of rehab, right? Or what were you teaching yourself actually in prison that allowed you to start creating a life that didn't want to make you get high or drunk again, to give up what you have?
Well, I knew that, pretty much, once I got to jail, and how everyone says they hit a rock bottom, which I feel like I hit a rock bottom tons of times, but this time was really bad.
Right.
So I made a conscious decision to myself that I was gonna do, a complete turnaround. I was gonna, just be completely honest with myself and everyone around. And that I've just been applying those principles ever since. And especially I learned those in jail. I learned, being honest with people, because I was the type just to lie about the dumbest shit.
Right.
Think that was cool.
What kind of car do you drive?
Right now, I drive a 2008 Honda Accord. Shout out to all the Hondas.
Yeah, 2019 Charger coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. You told that story.
Right. And let me speak on that too. What Wes just said. I was the type of guy that if I just met you and you'd be like, we're kicking in and chopping it up, I'd be like, oh man, you'd be like, well, what kind of car you been driving out there? I'm like, I'd lie. I'm like, yeah, I got a 2018 Dodge Charger Hemi in it.
Right.
Just
Hellcat.
Yeah, demon.
Yeah, Hellcat. Yeah, red eye.
Fresh off the lot, 50 miles on the odometer.
Right. Some strange approval of me. That's the type of guy.
Right.
Fuck, I did it too, man. I ain't gonna lie.
I think we all did it.
Just the dumb.
For whatever fucking reason, man.
Right. So
Impress people you don't give a fuck about anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
In the real world, it doesn't impress me.
Yeah. Who gives a fuck?
So like,
about?
for example, so Greg, for you,
yeah,
what I see is, and maybe you can let me know if I'm right, I think for you, you're a little bit newer into the not being sober, but more importantly, recovery scene than Matty and I, than Dale. We've been around, right? Do you think it's accurate for me to say that for Greg, it's very important that you always represent your genuine self to everyone, especially to yourself, but to the people around you? Do you feel like that's a self-discipline thing as far as
100%.
being vulnerable and not having to tell little lies to other people to feel some kind of security blanket or to feel some kind of acceptance?
Yes, 100%. I feel like if I can be 100% to people, then I don't have to worry about anything. They're getting 100% of me. They're getting the real me. They're getting the honest me. And that's who I always wanted to be in life, period. So I think that builds healthy relationships.
Yep.
People can rely on me more. They know that I'm telling them the truth. Yeah, so it just makes me an all-around better person if I apply those same principles.
Of course, man.
So,
absolutely.
And it's
working
out 100%.
Yeah. Dale, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
What's your as far as, because I don't know too much about you, man. What's your just quick definition of self-discipline to you? And then after that, I want to get back to Matty because I want to talk about taking it to the next level and kind of why we're all here today. But Dale, what's your definition of self-discipline, and where did you start from as far as why you needed to put that into your life to be successful and not go back to drugs and alcohol?
Well, my definition, man, of self-discipline took place for me, man, when I got out of prison in 2019, right?
Okay.
You know, I was in prison, right? And to be honest, man, I wasn't really sure if I was ready yet to start this journey.
Right.
Right. And when I came home, it was proven that I wasn't ready yet to start the journey, right? Because I immediately got back into what I was doing before I went to prison. So when it started for me, man, was when I went to CBH, man. I went to CBH Hospital.
Which is a psychiatric hospital.
Psychiatric hospital, right. And afterwards, man, I winded up at ECS, man. And the moment that hold on for a second, we're going in the room.
Okay, cool.
The moment that I knew, man, that I needed to incorporate self-discipline in my life, man, was when I had the phone interview with Aaliyah to get accepted, man, into ECS, right? That's when it hit me because she asked me a lot of questions, man, about, you know, was I ready to come to treatment? And she asked me a lot of questions about past trauma and things like that. And I believe that played a major role for me as far as self-discipline, man, because if I couldn't be honest enough about what had happened to me, right, and what I was going through, then how would I be able to address some of those issues? Right. So I believe that was the turning point for me, man.
So similar to Greg, you could say that your initial and most important step of kind of obtaining and mastering self-discipline was you had to master the ability to be genuine and vulnerable with other humans.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's something that all four of us can relate to. And besides not doing the drugs and alcohol, and besides absolutely, of course, you're supposed to be genuine and vulnerable with people that you can trust, and just people in general. There's no reason for us to tell these little lies anymore that we used to tell in addiction, right? That's our baseline, especially if you're in this group and you're a part of this thing. That's the absolute fucking baseline. Now, Matty, you were speaking about what you're doing now, right? 75 hard. But before we even get to that, me and Matty have a similar clean time, right? But when I got into recovery, he was someone that at first we really didn't get along too much, but that was just ego and pride, and we didn't really have a good understanding of who we are, right, as people. The further and further I got into my recovery, the more I can see what this guy is doing and kind of tell myself, oh, that's what I want, right? I'm curious, how did this guy get all this stuff in this amount of time? And I wasn't doing bad, but I wanted to kind of have like an exponential trajectory on how to get there faster, right? So I look at someone like Matty. To all of us, I think we can say he's like a bigger brother, a mentor, someone who's doing big things with his life, right? Matty, you kind of elevated, for at least the guys that want to fucking hear it, this this idea of self-discipline. And like I said, we have a baseline, right? But that's just enough to kind of maybe stay sober or, stay sober for a little bit. But in this group, we're trying to do something bigger than that, right? So you started with kind of like a baseline of self-discipline. Nowadays, what is your idea of self-discipline, and how important is it for you every single day, day in and day out, to make sure that you're staying on top of that?
As far as kind of thing goes,
Your audio.
The battery getting low, man.
Sit down better.
That's better.
As far as like being successful in my life and just doing all the shit I do, I know what that's like for me. You see my schedule,
Right?
Day in and out. Without just fucked.
It's going in and out. The audio. Are you on Wi-Fi or network?
Still? No, I'm still on network. Hold on, let me go back to the other room, man.
Yeah, I think that other room.
I think I was closer to. Yeah, I'm headed back. I had to
cool.
had to deal with some dog issues for a second.
Absolutely, man. So real quick while he's heading back, what we're about to quickly get into is, we have different levels of self-discipline and places that we're at in life, right? But I saw somebody that comes from a similar background and same struggles as me, and I saw the way that he was elevating, right? So naturally, I wanted to understand his ideas and what goes through his head. So real quick, now that hopefully the lag is over, Matty, how important is the concept of self-discipline, but not just on the little things, like a couple ideas, but throughout the entire day with every little thing that you do? Can you talk about how you've been practicing taking it to the next level, basically, and just making it mean that much more and being kind of really just that much harder on yourself about self-discipline?
Absolutely. I feel like the 70 hard thing, not to bring it up right away, but it really, like he said, it's just a program. It's just, but you just work the whole thing. And like I said, I thought it was going to be easy because I'm like, fuck, I do this shit all the time, really. And I do, but not all the time, not every day, not 100%, like 70% of all of it every day. Yeah, maybe.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's where I was at. I was at like
right.
the bachelor's degree level of discipline. Not on my own, but with Goggins and Jocko, and then just finding shit out for myself, like fucking getting up early, I get more shit done, and then all of a sudden I'm like working 70 hours a week as an iron worker. I'm running 2 gyms. I'm fucking finding a woman. I get married to an amazing person. Like I get a fucking house. Like all this shit's happening. I'm almost like, a couple months ago, I was pinching myself going, how the fuck is this even possible right now?
Absolutely. So how is it possible? There's no magic that went into it. So what did you do?
Not really. It's getting up every day. Like I have a list. It's a different list now with 75 hard. I've just made it more intense basically. But like I would make a list every night for about the last 2 years. I had this little baby notebook. Every night before I went to bed, I would identify like the shit that had to get done the next day, basically. Nothing rocket science, no magic to it. Like I would write it out. I have to get up at X amount. Like last year, it was fucking 4:30 to go lift. And then I go right to work. I had planned my shakes and my meals and all my shit. But it's being organized to some degree, which I was never good at before, to be honest. But having all my shit ready, I get up, I take care of my dog, I'd have my cup of coffee, drink my greens and all my bullshit like I do.
Right.
Head out the door with my cooler with all my meals and my shakes in it. Go to the gym, hit that for 45 minutes, an hour. Get to work about 6:45 out in Matson last year, but it was kind of close for me, which was nice. But
yeah,
get to work 10 hours. Most, depending on like the guys that work for me schedule, I was usually going to Body Vandal 1 or 2 nights a week. And then
we'll get to what Body Vandal is in the future as well for the guys.
It's just like gyms at the rehab. We use to train the guys that are in there because we didn't really have that when we were there. And it's really seemed to do a lot. So. But I would go there because I have a couple guys that work for me. Well, one guy last year at the time because I only had the one Body Vandal. But I would go there and pick up the nights. He was busy, so it was like usually a night or 2 a week and then the weekends. But at the time I worked Saturday and Sunday, so I was still going to fucking my gyms or my business basically, at 6 o'clock at night on Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
Unless one of them guys picked it up. But I just
Hey,
I came to the realization that I have to do this shit for myself. Nobody's going to fucking do it for me. I wanted it because I love what I do as far as a business.
Right.
I like my job quite a bit, but I mean, my business means more to me, but the job pays all the bills and I get my benefits and all that bullshit from it.
And you know
I
what?
just made it. I just expected this is the shit that's what it come back to the list every day. Like tonight, I'll write one. Like tomorrow, I got a call about this bill. I got to do my whole 75 hard program.
Right.
It's already pre-written out for every fucking day, no matter what. Basically, the next 75 days. And like anything from day to day, it could be anything. Like I got to make certain phone calls. I got to check on my guys in my business. I got to see if they need shit. I check on my old man because he's getting older and he's having a little more health problems lately, although he's good. But, I have spent time with my wife until recently, but now it's phone calls.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? One thing you were talking about earlier today, right? Which actually came into fruition for me as well. You guys both know it hasn't been like the most exciting or inspirational past few days for me, right? But you were talking about, when we're staying self-disciplined and we're not looking for that instant gratification, but we're thinking in terms of delayed gratification. Sometimes when we're putting that fucking work in every single fucking day, we don't get that instant feeling of yippee, I fucking did something great, right? We don't always get that. And most of the time, actually that hard work and 100% self-discipline, it really doesn't garner you any quick results, right? So sometimes we can be demotivated or uninspired to continue. But today I also had a breakthrough of what you were speaking about. When you're doing the right thing and not fucking off and not breaking your self-discipline, that delayed gratification is going to show up sooner than later, right? So we might not get the fruits of our labor for what we're doing today, but eventually it might come in a different form that you didn't expect. You're going to get that karma back for putting that work in. And you're going to get that feeling of, oh, that's why I've been doing all of this, because now I have this. So what do you think about that as far as that delayed gratification that comes from 100% self-discipline?
Perfect example of that, actually, from today. That job I was telling you guys about coming up that I got offered, I don't know any of those guys from Local One. I mean, I know them on like Facebook. I met them at meetings, like vote meetings and shit. Never worked with any of them, actually. The reason he fucking called me and wanted me to come on is because he's heard he knows I know what I'm doing just from being around. I've been around 20 some years. He's been around longer. So word gets around like that. But it was more the fact that he sees what I do on Facebook and like with the videos and like the fact that we do those groups and they know what I do with Body Vandal. And he was just like, man, I know you're a good iron worker, but he's like, the shit I see you doing as a human being is the reason I really wanted to get you on this job. So we could all get to know you better.
Absolutely.
And work with you. And I mean, that's nothing. I wasn't doing all that shit for something like that, but it just come around. You know what I mean?
Right.
People notice when you're doing the right shit for the right reasons.
Yeah, man. I think the world notices as well. And that's kind of like on a more spiritual level, right? But Greg, yeah. I think it's very important for someone. Now, you've been sober for quite some time, right? But as far as you left rehab a few months ago, and just what is your take on the idea of delayed gratification? Now, I know you love your job and you love the life that you live now, but what do you personally do? And just be 100% honest on those days where you feel like you're not getting what you're due because you're putting that self-discipline in, you're not using drugs and alcohol, you're going to work. Do you have days where some days you feel like I'm doing all this shit, but nothing's coming from it, or I'm stagnating, or why am I doing this? You ever have that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm human. Absolutely, I have those days. But what I've learned helps the most is talking about it, man. So I might be doing, this is definitely the happiest. This is the happiest I've ever been in my life, 100%. And I'm 38. So in 38 years of my life, I've never experienced true happiness as I experience now. And I still have days where like, why the fuck am I doing this? I'm not good enough.
Right.
This job sucks. And the job is amazing. but I'm telling myself in my head that this job sucks. Why am I doing this? Just be a bitch and cop out. So when I have those thoughts and I have those days, I'm so used to in the past is getting high.
Right.
Or
phone call.
Yeah, hang on. I'm sorry about that.
You're good, bro.
That's all good.
Business. No,
Yes,
but,
sir.
I'm so used to hitting that panic button and just doing what I know best, which is getting high and being a bitch. And but now, man, that I've learned that talking about it with people that are in the same situation as me, and not only just you guys, I have so many mentors in my life right now that I communicate with on a daily basis, whether it be the simplest choice or decision that I choose to make. I run it past so many people, man, because I feel like that has worked really well for me. Getting insight on different things.
Absolutely.
So when I'm having a really bad day and I feel like giving up, or I just feel like self-defeat, I talk about it and I get it off my chest. And then before you know it, that thought and that feeling has passed. And
Right.
then I'm back on track, man. I'm ready kicking ass.
Yeah, because you know what? In addiction, right? I think we're so used to this idea of isolation and, oh, nobody's had my struggle, and I know that I'm the only one that's been through the shit that I've been through. But at the end of the day, we're all sitting here and we've all gone through a bunch of bullshit. And Greg, I think you're really picking up on the idea of, I'm not doing this alone. And whatever struggles I have or however I'm feeling this day, there's other people that have had an exactly similar day that I've had, and they fucking made it without drinking or smoking. So exactly what you're saying. And I think it became even more powerful when Matty got us all together and kind of formulated this idea of like a higher
100%.
brotherhood, like a higher brotherhood of men with similar ideas, but not just men with similar ideas, but the drive and the passion to actually do something with it, right? Because, and this is not a bash on anyone in any circumstance, but for whatever reason, you know, us and a couple other guys, we've been drawn together. And, you know, if people are looking, you know, I upload this to YouTube, you know, it's a black guy, a Korean guy that's kind of like chubby, and then we got two white guys, right? And it's a funny thing because if we didn't have similar past struggles and more importantly, a similar mindset today, we would never be sitting here doing this, right? But we have that. And Greg, you bring up a very important point when you talk about being vulnerable and genuine. It's I think that's that foundation, like I said, that foundation of self-discipline that has brought us all together. And I think it's very important what we're doing as far as this group and what we've got going on. Greg, you are, like we said, a little bit newer. Oh, by the way, did we tell Matty about the news that you got, bro?
Yeah, I told Matty.
Yeah, man. So speak on that real quick. And obviously it hasn't happened yet, and I don't want to jinx it or anything, but we just started this kind of talking group. But Greg, you've already had kind of connections as far as in the system, and you were already trying to be a leader, right? So before we wrap it up for the guys, we're going to have more shit coming soon in the future, and we're going to try to get this more organized for you guys in the future. Real quick, let them know what you got going on for us as far as just something that we have coming next to kind of just expand this base so that we can continue spreading the message to more people that need it.
All right, real quick. Recently, I was obviously I was in jail, and I was in DuPage County Jail, and I was working real close with a program called Just. And the guy who runs that program, who started it and works really closely with the sheriff of the jail, his name's Mike Berry, and that's one of my mentors. And he also works real closely with the drug court program in DuPage County Jail. And what he asked me to do is to find a group of guys, which we have on here, Matty, Wes, and even Dale would be more than welcome, is to talk to the inmates that are in the jail that are trying to better themselves and recover and get on the same path as us, that have doubt, that they feel like their lives will never change because of their addiction, right, or all the bad choices that they've made. they want us to zoom in and have our own group in that jail once a week, so guys can see the progress that we made and give them belief that they can do it, they can change, because we all walk the same fucking path as them, from different fucking colors in life, whatever you want to say. They can all relate to us.
Absolutely.
So that's what's coming in the future, guys. Look forward.
Yeah,
look forward
yeah. And that's just fucking badass, dude. That's just another avenue to like, you know, Matty started this whole thing, brought us into it, not because we're looking for fame or for money, or it's the fact that we had someone here for us to spread the message to us that got us to where we needed to be. And now that we have a voice and we've been doing this shit and we have certain ideas that we obviously believe helped us get to where we are, any extra avenue for us to spread that message is a fucking blessing, right? So we got that going on. Matty, you got your YouTube channel going on. I got my YouTube channel going on. Greg Fisher, you're gonna hop on that shit too. Dale, you're a little bit more low key, but you got your shit going on. And we got a lot of different avenues. Huh?
He's in this.
He's right there for real. We got a lot of different things going on, right? As far as how we can get this message out there. So I think we're headed down the right path as far as, you know, honing this ability that we have, this gift that we have to speak. And I want you guys to all just say one more thing. We'll wrap it up for tonight. But I just want to say I'm grateful for everyone that's on this call, everyone that I've met through my journey and recovery. And you know, you guys are the type of men that push me to do better and kind of elevate to that next level. You know, take my idea, just for example, tonight, of self-discipline, see how I can take that to the next level so I can better myself. Greg, like you always say, or not that you always say, but tonight, it's not always easy. You know, there's days when you're not inspired and you don't have that motivation. But like we were talking about, if you have that history, you know, let's say the past week, the past 2 weeks of self-discipline, getting shit done that you know you have to do, even when emotions or feelings or being tired gets in the way, when you get that shit done, there's always going to be something that's delayed that you're gonna get that gratification. You don't know when, but it's always going to come. And we're not living for the moment anymore, right? We're living for, okay, I'm doing good today, but what can I ensure that I have to do today to make sure that in whatever amount of time, I'm still doing good or even better, right? I think that's, for me, that's where I'm at with self-discipline. Matty brought up the idea. It was an Andy Frisella video. That's where I'm at today. No matter how I'm feeling, no matter what I'm going through, no matter how tired I am, no matter what my emotional state is, I still got shit that I need to get done today. And I'm going to get that shit done no matter what fucking happens to me, no matter if I fucking fall asleep and I got to wake up and do that shit. I'm going to get it done. So that's just where I'm at today. And I want to say thank you guys for being here.
It was a pleasure.
Any last words?
Live tabby, move fast, stay deadly.
Yeah. Heard that, brother. You already know.
All right, guys.
Here, man.
Everybody have a good night, man. Let's see if this thing even recorded, and we'll see. If it's on YouTube, then it worked.
Awesome.
Love you guys, man.
Love you guys.